I want to talk about 6 ways that you can boost productivity. Believe me, these are things that I've been putting into place for the last couple of years, and I'm massively boosting it for 2026. The first one is to stop being available to everyone. This is the simplest one, because if you are constantly available, like every time someone asks for something, you kind of jump in and go, yeah, I'll help you out. You're training them or giving them permission to interrupt you constantly. And when they have that allowance, it stops them from trying to solve the problem themselves, because they know that you're always going to be there to help them out. Real leaders are able to protect their time. So if you're someone that just openly helps people out all the time and you're okay with that, fine. But if you want to become a real leader in your space or wherever you work, then train yourself not to do that. It's all about protecting your time. It's all about not responding instantly the minute someone goes, how do I do this? And I know that's really easy to say, especially if you've been helping people out all your life. But it's something you got to start putting into practice. When access to you becomes limited, or people have to pay for it, or there's like a ticket system or a waiting list, your time becomes much more valuable, and that will make other people more resourceful and more independent with themselves. Come on, be honest. If you knew there were 2 people that could help you out, and one of them is available all the time, whereas another person can only help you out for half an hour today, or you got to book their time, who do you find more valuable? And some of you are going to say the one who's available all the time. Whereas if you're a professional, you will value those people who are more scarce and more limited in what they can do for you or when they're available, because when they are available, it's going to matter so much more. The second thing is plan your week before it starts. In fact, I like to plan 2 months in advance, and I'm always replanning and rejigging. This is going to allow you to scope out what you're doing for the week and the day. And that will also allow you to form strategies of how you're going to overcome any challenges or solve problems to ensure you achieve those tasks. Some of you aren't going to like having to do a bit of work Sunday evening, but if you plan for it or do a bit of prep work, or you understand what you're going to do and how you're going to achieve it, or how you think you might want to achieve it, you're going to be able to hit Monday ground running, or hit the ground running on Monday. Because those people that just turn up on Monday or whatever day of the week and they haven't prepped or done some planning, the minute they realize they've got to achieve X, Y, Z, or something else has landed on their desk, they suddenly enter the chaos phase. Everything's chaotic. They don't know how to handle it. I've got to get this done and I've got to do this as well, because they didn't plan for it. And I know you can't always plan for unpredictable situations or things ad hoc that come through the door you least expected. But if you're in control of what you knew you were going to tackle, when these unexpected problems come through the door, you might not feel as flustered or festered or flustered as you would have been if you hadn't planned. I like to ensure that every day has a defined purpose or a goal. And I know what I want to achieve. In fact, I plan hourly for my day. In fact, I will plan my entire week, and I do shift things around. But I know from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m, this is what I want to achieve. And it's not just work related. It could be exercise. It could be weightlifting. It could be what I'm even going to eat. Am I going to have a protein bar, a tin of tuna, half a packet of chicken? Because when it comes to planning your time, stop thinking about just work. Think about your life. Think about what you're doing with your partner, with your children, with your pets, what you're going to eat, what you're going to watch. You will find life becomes much easier. I'm not going to lie. My weeks feel like a game sometimes. And when I know I hit those goals and I tick them off, and I've recorded another video, or I've expanded on a course, or I've delivered something for someone, I've made a difference, I feel like I've gone up a level. I've upgraded. Third thing you need to do to boost your productivity, and this relates to something I just mentioned in the previous one, is your health and well-being. Please do not just focus on work. Oh, I'm going to get promoted. I'm going to earn X, Y, Z. Start thinking about your mental and your health well-being. So I will make sure I take my vitamin tablets in the morning. I will make sure I do my workouts 3 or 4 times a day. I will make sure I go for a walk whenever there's an opportunity to go for a walk. I will eat certain types of food. I won't just binge out on doner kebabs all the time. Even though the doner meat ain't too bad if you take away the bread aspect. But start thinking about your health, because high performance will require physical energy, mental clarity, and emotional stability. You will have heard this so many times, but get into the habit of scheduling your workouts, when you're going to go to sleep, when you're going to take a rest, when you're going to watch Netflix, when you're going to sit and talk to your family. It all matters. I am living proof of the fact that when you start to look after yourself, you can make better decisions. You have a clearer mind, you're more focused. Because when you're not, and you're a bit erratic with when you're going to eat or when you're going to do things, or you want to do a workout, but you didn't plan for when you were going to do it, and then you miss that hour you had set aside to go and do something, it can affect you massively. Just start scheduling. Don't skip. Don't let it affect your productivity. And I know I keep mentioning workout, but your workout could be learning, watching YouTube videos, joining a course, learning about AI, or whatever you think is going to help you, your business, and your family. Anything. Could even be like plastering a wall or a bit of gardening. The fourth one is treat your time and your calendar like an asset. That means you control it, or you look after it, and you know what you're doing and when you're going to do it, and you decide on that. Don't let other people. Because if other people know they can pinch your time, or start scheduling meetings that suit them, or maybe someone goes, right, we're going to go out and you're going to come along, or this is what I'm going to eat, or you've decided that you're going to watch a movie and someone goes, no, we're not watching that, but you were really passionate and invested in watching something and now you can't do that, that's going to affect you. If something affects what you were going to do as a hobby or enjoyment, or someone says, right, your mum and dad want you to come over now, but you had planned to work on a project or record a video or just work on a website or work with someone else, and now you lose that time, that will affect you. That affects your business productivity. That affects what you wanted to achieve, your goals, your tasks. Stop letting other people own your time. Treat it like an asset. Stay in control. And don't be afraid to block off time. Days, weeks if you have to. If you are going to work on something, like when I expanded on the Elemental website course, or if I decide I'm going to do a series of videos, I don't care who wants me or wants me to go and do something. If I've said I'm going to commit to 2 or 3 days of working on this damn project, that is what I will do. The fifth thing you want to do is constantly review what you set out to do. Reflect on it. Did it go well? Could you have done it better? Did you rush it? Did you say you were going to get something done today and you did achieve it? Great, but you could have done it in a much more efficient, methodical manner. Did you tick a box just to ensure your clients or another business was happy, just so that you could get paid? But deep down, you know that you cut corners or you brushed things under the carpet. Taking that time to reflect on your performance, your health, your mental well-being, what you're going to work on or what you plan to do next week is going to allow you to start revising your approach. And it's going to give you the opportunity to start adjusting. So even if you think you had a good week, could you have made that week better? Or maybe you had a really bad week. Why was it bad? Why did it fail? Why did it fall apart? And maybe you need to have conversations with other external people as well. Maybe your partner, maybe even your children. Maybe you sit down with your cats and say, look, you got to stop scratching the door when I'm recording. Not that they do scratch the door, or sometimes they're in a room and you want to say, stop jumping on the desk and knocking the camera over. I hear this all the time, right, about continuous improvement, and that's what you need to do. Reflect on what you're doing and how can you make it better. And one tip that someone gave me about writing books, and this we're going back now 15 years, they said, do not miss a day of writing. And that's what I stuck to until I did stop writing. But you want to now translate that into what can you do for yourself? Try to improve by 1% every day. And you will have heard this before. So many influencers and people say this, but believe in it. And I know you can't always measure 1%. What does that even look like? but you'll know within yourself if you've improved on something. And the last thing, number 6, you really want to be protecting deep work time. Deep work is your most valuable time when you're going to get the most out of you, and it could be recording YouTube videos. For me, it's 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I get up, quickly feed the cats, get down to my desk, boot things up, and I get on my stepper. And I will do 2 hours of stepping, close to 120 minutes, give or take, if the cats interrupt me. And in that 2 hours, I might only get 600 to 700 calories burned because I'm not just stepping, I'm working. Standing up desk, stepping, and I'm working. I am focused. I'm doing preparatory prep work for videos or working with a client. I'm reviewing emails, I'm reviewing tasks, I'm reflecting on the previous day and what I'm going to get done today. That is my deep work time. My wife will be asleep. My son will be asleep. The cat's here and there, you know, jumping around. But that is my deep work time. And when my wife and son are out the house, I have another load of deep work time. 2 hours of recording videos or working on a project. Protect that time. Don't let anyone interrupt it. Don't let anyone pinch that away from you, because interruptions destroy focus and they dramatically slow progress. If it means turning off the notifications on your phone or your computer, if it means not looking at your email, if it means silencing your phone, whatever you have to do, do it. I don't care what anyone says, but success comes from focused thinking time and not constant interruptions. I hope these 6 ways of boosting productivity are going to help you, your business, working with clients, even your family time, and they're going to help you for today, tomorrow, next week, next month, and the following year.